Blood's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and you and me and you and you and you and me and you and you and you and me and you and you.
In another life, I surely was
The great king, Theseus, returns with the queen of the Amazonians and her sister Emily back to Athens. Meeting him there were 3 women dressed in black, who begged the king to help them. Creon, the tyrant of Thebes, took the kingdom by force and desecrated the bodies of those who fought, including the king. With no other choice, Theseus armed himself and his army ready for war. He not only promised to avenge the fallen, but to take back the kingdom. The king rode upon his golden steed, armed for battle. With his Athenian army before him, he delivered a powerful speech. Thebes must be taken. We must avenge our fallen comrades. His speech motivated those who couldn't bear witness to the atrocities behind those stone walls of Thebes. He continues to deliver these powerful words to his soldiers, ready for battle, ready to take on Creon himself. Before the Athenian army stormed Thebes, the king ordered for a devastating artillery with his ballistas, catapults, and trebuchets. Theseus was the first one to the gate, setting his plan in motion to bust through the gates of Thebes. It was time for him to take back the kingdom. Having destroyed the gates, he made his way through, as well as his army of Athenians. After his conquest of Thebes, Creon walked the ruined kingdom and seen the men who died with their weapons beside them. He felt there was no need to bury his enemies, but little did he know, though, he'd be buried alongside his own soldiers when Theseus arrived with his army. The army has stormed the gates of Thebes. After days of brutal fighting, a soldier came across Palamon first. Having been injured during the battle or the previous artillery strikes, he was no longer fit to fight. He laid in a pool of his own blood, alive, but barely. He can now only beg for his life. In the same light, Arcite was also injured, and the two were taken back to Athens. For any of you that do not know, this is what Athens, Greece looks like. Both Palamon and Arcite were sentenced to lifelong imprisonment within the Athenian towers of Greece. Over the course of their imprisonment, their relationship, their friendship, has been deteriorating ever since. That was when both men noticed Emily, and they both fell in love at the same time. Separating them was a prison and a few blocks of grass. From the height of their tower, they see Emily working on the garden. It was love at first sight. However, this caused further strain on the two men, knowing they had to fight for her love. Arcite was freed by a duke he was friends with. However, the one condition he had to follow was that he would never return to the kingdom ever again. This meant an eternity without seeing Emily, and to him, death seemed much better. He roamed the streets having been set free, yet he felt empty. He always wanted freedom, but he was jealous of Palamon, who was still imprisoned. He got to see Emily every day while he was sentenced to banishment. Arcite would spend a few years in Thebes, alone. That night, Arcite laid in his bed, far away from Athens. He dreamed that the god Mercury tells him to pursue the love of Emily, and for him to return to the kingdom of Athens, where he was exiled from. Arcite returns to Athens under a new identity with a new job. He worked within Emily's household as a page and worked around the home, taking care of the family's needs. His new name was Philostrate. During his time as a page, he earned Theseus' trust and is knighted as a squire under his chamber. Palamon, on the other hand, devises a plan to break out of the prison. Like Arcite, Palamon plans on disguising himself to blend in with the populace of Athens. He had tricked the guards by putting opium into their drinks and managed to slip away into the night. Arcite and Palamon happen to meet in a grove far away from most eyes. They argue and bicker as they both know why they are both there. They are both there for the love of Emily. Arcite and Palamon don't see each other as equals, but as rivals. They promise to return with weapons and armor in hand to fight for her love. As soon as the two were about to duel, Emily, accompanied by her family, stopped the two from fighting. Their identities were revealed and Theseus ordered them to be executed. However, Emily and the queen managed to convince the king that they should fight for her love. The two agree and they begin praying to different gods, ready to battle each other in a duel. Palamon worships the statue of Venus in order to make Emily his and guarantee her love for him. Arcite, however, worships the god of war, Mars, in order to let him win the battle against Palamon. While worshipping the statue, Arcite can hear something coming from the statue. It speaks the words, "Victory." Palamon and Arcite rose to the arena and were ready to fight each other to the death. Friendship was now long gone, and all there was left was blood to be spilt. As swords clash, the one thing on Palamon's mind was Emily. On Arsate's mind was winning the battle. The gods had fought to see who would win. Mercury split up the fight between Venus and Mars and allowed all prayers to be granted. As the two fought and blocked attacks, Arsate landed a strike on Palamon. Palamon watched Arsate upon his steed ride over. He was going to win the battle, but that was till divine intervention made Arsate fall from his horse and hit his head. Arsate laid in his deathbed. He wasn't going to survive, but he did have one final wish. He wanted Palamon to be the one to marry Emily. Arsate believed that he was too driven on the battle, and not his love for Emily. Palamon came out victorious, but lost his closest ally. With these words, Arsate passed away peacefully in his bed. Climbing the altar, Palamon held the flowers he would finally give to Emily. Years of imprisonment, fighting, and now loss led to this moment. Emily found someone who truly loved her, and Palamon finally got what he wished for.